want to introduce the next senator from the state of Indiana, Joe Donnelly.
It is a special night tonight to stand here in front of you and see a filled Union Hall when we all know what we've gone through over the past years. Look around at how packed this place is. And then I was saying to Rick a few minutes ago, you remember back to that day in '09, and this place was packed then, but for a completely different reason. Remember when we were waiting to hear what the Supreme Court decision was going to be, and whether or not there was actually going to be a Chrysler Motors the next day. Think of that. Whether or not that plant, those other two plants all over the country, all over the world, would open up again the next day. And Rick and I had talked, and I said, Rick, he said, Joe, I have a packed building here waiting to hear. And I said, as soon as I know something, I will let you know. And we were on the edge of our seats. And I know Mo Davidson, who was our director at the time, was on the edge of his seat, waiting to hear what was going to happen. And I told Rick, I said, Rick, do I have to tell Mo first or tell you first? He goes, well, hell, I'm in the hall. Tell me first. And I said, I will, but don't tell Mo that. We got the news. And I called. And I said, Rick, we won. And that meant we all had jobs. And think of that. Think of that. 6,000 people now almost. Hiring almost every day. And there's a whole lot more to come. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we build the best cars in the world here in Kokomo, Indiana. And it is built with the best steel in the world, built right here in Indiana. And my wife said to me last November after we won the election and I knew I had a paycheck coming for the next 2 years, she said, we build the best cars in the world here in Indiana, don't we? I said, yes, we do. And she said, built with the best steel in the world right here from Indiana. I said, yes, we do. And she said, fine, I'm going out and buying a Grand Cherokee today. And she did. And one of the best things, I'll give you a little preview. I think at some point soon we'll have another commercial. And that commercial will be starring my 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee with 220,000 miles on it right now. And Rick wanted to be in the commercial, and I told him absolutely not under any circumstances. But this election, all of our friends back here fought so hard these past couple of years at the State House. And they fought to pass right to work on the other side. This is critical. If you want a governor who, when I called down in 2009, because the fella I'm running against, Richard Murdoch, is the guy who single-handedly tried to destroy this company, the American auto industry. He tried to single-handedly destroy it. And I called down to the State House for help. And when I called down to the State House for help, you know what I was told? I was told that this was all your fault that this was happening. That it was UAW workers and the way these plants were run. And this company, the way it was run. And that the folks down there, not these guys, but the leadership of the state, some of them, they felt that they were not going to step up that they thought Richard Murdoch was doing the right thing. Now look at each other. Look at each other. Your governor, or your state leaders, said, whatever happens to them, they did it to themselves. Do you think John Gregg would have ever done that? No, absolutely not. Do you think that Scott Rescue would do that in Congress? No. This is a fight for your jobs. If you want to know how important this is, when you go in that plant, everybody around there, their chance to go to work was put together by all of us. And if you think that's the last time the folks that tried to put you out of work are going to come back after you again, I got something very different to tell you. You need people who are going to vote for you, who are going to stand with you. But we didn't stand with you just because you're our friends. We stood with you because we had a choice. And this president had a choice. Don't think he didn't, especially with Chrysler. I read a book recently, and they said it was a 50-50 decision, even in his own White House. Even in his own White House. They said, let Chrysler go, half of them did. It'll fold into GM and Ford and others. They'll absorb it, and everybody, what happens, happens. And the President of the United States said, I'm going to bet on an American worker. And that's why we're here today. So, I don't mean to go on forever, but this is such a passionate subject for me because you are my dear, dear friends. We went through hell together. We didn't even know if the lights were ever going to turn on here again. And now, the most profitable months in history, the best cars in history, the best workers in history. That's what happens when you bet on the American worker. So please, what you need to do, when you look at the other workers there, is everybody in the plant registered. We need everybody registered. We need everybody voting. I'm going to tell you one more little story, and I apologize for taking up so much time. But this is so important. The last election, I was standing outside the transmission plant just down the highway. Not the furthest one north, but the next one up north. The one right by the Richard Murdoch billboard. I was going to tell you, I have another billboard I want to put directly across from that billboard. Rick Ward suggested to me what it should say, and I said, I think we'd all go in trouble if we put in what you want to say. But we're going to get another billboard up down there. But at that plant, the very plant the president came to, the Friday before the election, I stood there. And a fella came up to me, because that's part of my district, proud to represent it. And he said, Joe Donnelly, he said, you and your friends helped save this company. I said, I'm incredibly proud to have done it. He said, I'm not voting for you, but I'm really glad you saved our company. And that's one of your brothers and sisters. And so what we need to tell them is, look, we're all happy now. We're all getting a heck of a paycheck now. But if you think it's that way forever, think back to '09. Think back to '09. When you think, can I register one more person? Think back to '09, when we didn't even know if we were going to have any jobs. But I promise you this, as your United States Senator, I will stand with you, I will fight with you, and I will be with you every step of the way. Thank you very much.